when we say that we are attached? And why is it that we cling on to someone, something, or someplace? Welcome to Rise Within.
Hi, Abby. Welcome, everyone. There is a big misunderstanding about what attachment is. Most of the time, people misidentify attachment as love. They feel that if you're attached to someone, that means you love someone, all right? Or you're attached to something, you love something. While in reality, it is exactly the opposite.
Very true. It is psychologically, attachment starts way before we even realize it, right? It says that we start getting attached to people as young as the day we were born, right? The moment we latch on to our mother, that's where our earthly attachment starts, right? And then it's an endless journey. We go every day of our life, we meet new people, and we get attached. Now, that attachment not necessarily can be defined as love. It can be nurture, it can be friendship, it can be anything that one can define as long as it doesn't become toxic or that attachment doesn't become negative or a habit for us. Right?
Attachment itself is a habit and itself is negative, if I have to say that. All right. Because as I said, attachment is not love, it is misidentified.
Yeah.
If you truly love someone, all right, you are at peace. You don't need to hold on to that. All right. It is the idea of that relationship or that person that we get attached to. And what happens with the attachment is it is a block. It blocks your growth, your energy, your life overall. Basically, where does attachment come from? As you rightly said, it starts right from the time we are born. And why does that happen? When you're born, we don't even know because there's this fear of losing. All right. And that's the stem cause or the root cause of attachment. Either there is fear of losing someone or something. That's why children attach to the toys, right? Like they want to hold on to it because they don't want to let go of it.
Yeah.
It's a fear of losing it. As we grow older, we don't only attach to people or things like, a person may be attached to a home or a person may be attached to the car or, so it's things. At the same time, a person may be attached to the identity of who I am. Oh, I am this way. All right. So whether it's the name, it's the identity, the personality, the job, sometimes people identify themselves with the job, the title that or the director of it. I remember there was a point where, like in my career, where I was not seeing growth. All right. And I was actually performing. I was a super performer, a star performer in that organization. And then I realized well, there's no growth. At some point, it was all the awards that I had put on the table. At one point, I looked at them and I'm like, maybe this is what's stopping me because I'm so attached to the awards and my status or my achievements and what I have achieved till now that I'm not able to go beyond that. I actually did something physically, I took all of those. First, I put them off, and then later on, I actually threw them off, discarded them off for me to create space for growth. And that's what actually happened after that. So you didn't realize how you could attach yourself to even these kind of things.
That's true.
People attach to emotions. People attach to emotions like, oh, I'm really very scared. I'm really scared. And that becomes a pattern because it's a comfort zone.
Yeah.
All right. It's better to be scared, or it is better to be, I'm always sad, or I'm always depressed, or this I am, that identity as well as the emotion. When you link all of that and you get attached to it, then you are not. If you say that I'm always angry, okay, that is my identity, it becomes the identity, and then they attach to it. Oh, I have anger issues. No, you can. It's not that you do not recognize what it is. You be aware of the emotions, all right. However, you don't attach to those emotions. And why do we attach to these emotions? As I said, it's the comfort zone. So there's a fear of change. You don't want to change.
Absolutely. Because that kind of gives us the safe space, right? The safe space to live in. So, if we actually turn down the layers, there are several layers of attachments, right? One is the emotional layer, right? Where we see we need a sense of validation. That might be from people, from things. Status is a big thing, like we said. We both have seen that. Mentally, where believe that we cannot survive without something or without someone. That is more on a mental level, right? If we go deeper, then it is, I would see, at an energetic level, where it's very difficult for us not being able to let go. right? Where
Yeah.
we are stuck. That whole word
Yeah.
of I'm stuck is, if you look within, we are the ones who's keeping us back from ourselves.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
we let go and make space energetically, we're letting other good things happen in our life. And the other and
Right.
the most important thing is spiritually. Spiritually, forgetting we are whole as we were born. We were
Right.
not made in pieces. We were made complete. So
Yes. Yeah.
energetically understanding, spiritually understanding, mentally and emotionally understanding that attachments come in various forms.
Yeah. And very true. You rightly said, like we all are complete. Attachment comes from need. And and need is not love again, right? Need
Right,
is not your identity as because you are whole and complete.
right,
So everywhere you have a need, I need someone for me to feel whole and complete. You are as you're perfect the way you are. All right.
right.
So the need of validation is also like it's an attachment, right? As you rightly said, it's like I need someone's appreciation. I do things, I act in a certain way, I behave in a certain way because I need if and what happens when we get attached? We are never happy. All right. And what another thing that happens is we are giving away our power to someone else. So if I need
Absolutely.
or something else, right? So if I
Right.
need this house for me to feel happy, that my attachment to that house is so strong, all right, I have given away my power to this. And what happens is my energy gets stuck.
Absolutely.
I'm not able to look at beyond that because I'm stuck there. Maybe this house is not good for me, or maybe this place is not right for me. Sometimes you get your cities, your hometowns, you have this. Important thing to remember is that you can love all of this. You can have all of it, all right, without being attached. So that's the difference that we need to understand. What people feel is that if I'm not attached, that means there's no love. Or if I'm not attached to it, I will lose it, right? So there's a fear of lose. A lot of it comes from control. Like, it's not love, it is control.
Yeah,
I want to control the outcome. You have attachments to outcomes. That
yeah,
if I do, this is the only way. And if that outcome turns up, so if, say, for example, for people, maybe if I make that X amount of money, then I'm successful. They're so stuck with that X amount of money that you will not realize actually there have been so many cases where once you let go of that, people can actually receive so much more than what they were attached to as an outcome.
yeah.
In fact,
True.
till the time you're attached to the outcome, you've blocked the outcome itself. So that is the biggest law and the requirement for a manifestation that we spoke about in our previous podcast, right? Don't get attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
Ask for whatever you'd like. So it's not that you don't ask for anything. You ask for it and just let go of the outcome. Do what you have to do and allow the universe to provide for, even better than what you would have thought. So another aspect of attachment is faith and trust. If
True.
you do not have that faith and trust in yourself or in the universe, the creator, what happens is there is control to the outcome.
Yeah.
There is control to things. There is control and holding on to people, things, emotions, and all of that. All right. So the more you develop and the more you have that faith and trust in the creator that whatever is going to come or whatever it is, or whoever I am, it is the highest and best, right? And just allow that to show up and release that attachments. That's when more and more of things start happening. More ease, more fun, more peace, and
Yeah.
more happiness comes in.
True. In that attachment, right?
Yeah.
It's so important where, you give a very beautiful example when we were in our last episode when we were talking about love. Somebody who
Mm.
truly loves a flower will never pick it up or break it
Yeah.
off its branch, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who really loves would water that plant so that they can see that flower blossoming every single day. So such is
Yeah.
attachment, right? You might
Right.
just keep watering till the seed grows into a plant, till it might give fruits, it might give flowers, but that's not what you're doing. You're continuously giving that thought or that relationship or whatever
Love.
it is
Yeah.
unconditional love, right? Without
Yeah.
any thought behind it. That this is
Yeah.
what I'm going to
Yeah.
receive, or this is what I'm going to get at the end
Mm.
of it. I'm raising the seed because I'm going to get flowers.
Very true.
It turns out that seed that you planted is actually the wrong seed, but still you get a beautiful plant, isn't it? And that's the beauty of the
Yeah.
universe.
Right.
There is zero possibility of a negative outcome. It's always a
Very true.
positive outcome, but in a different form altogether, out of your expectations, right? Because you
Very true.
have put this thought in your head that I will be receiving this person or this thing in this form. And you're
Yeah.
attached
And
to that picture in your head.
and that's where you are giving away your power, your happiness to that thing. That if it doesn't happen that way, then you are unhappy, you're disappointed, you're sad, you're angry, and all of that. While if you would just, like you said, just water the plant, see it grow, give it the blessings and the good intentions and whatever, and be with it. And you may still ask, okay, you may have an intention to say grow an apple tree, for example. Even if the apples have not come in, there may be beautiful flowers over there, and it's grown so beautifully that it's giving the shade, and maybe something else comes out of it, right? So yes, you ask and you just let go and receive. That's what opens. So when you're attached, you are close to receiving.
Yeah.
Because from a logical mind, we have only so many outcomes that are possible, because from a logical conscious mind, for the universe, nothing is impossible, and there are infinite possibilities. So I may think that, okay, if I do this and this is how I want it, then this is the best way, because that's my calculator working. But the universe doesn't work on the calculation, it works on magic. If I'm so stuck on this and I'm just focused on that, I'm not able to see the amazing possibilities and the blessings that are there beyond that. So I can have that and still more. And that's what releasing or letting go of attachments does. When you are open to receiving, you can receive so much more than whatever you had expected. And that comes in terms of things, people, identity also. And one of the best ways of being yourself is not being identified with anything.
Absolutely. In fact, Buddha once said, and Vipassana is one of the meditative styles that very, very actively teaches the art of detachment. Buddha once said that attachment is actually the root cause of all suffering. If we look back
Very
and
true.
ponder that everything, a loss is not a loss, failure is not a failure, a breakup is not a breakup, it's a new beginning. Everything, if you look at it holistically, it's just like if we just look back and reflect, Tanvir, our breaths, right?
Yeah.
Say we get attached to our breathing, right? And we just keep breathing in.
We hold on to the breath.
Breathe out, we choke, isn't it? If you think of
We
it,
die. If we hold on to our breath, we will die.
yeah. So it is as simple as that. Nothing in this world is permanent. Nothing in this world will last with us forever. So
Yeah.
till it is there, it is just that moment.
Yeah.
And live in that moment. And that is what life should be, because you don't know what will happen next. Whatever will we manifest, we might be, it might take ages for us to receive the fruits of our manifestation. But it comes to us only when we are ready to receive it, right? When we are ready, physically, mentally, we don't even know it. Let's take an example of the corporate world. I think it is very a very crucial time of the years in the corporate world. Thank God now both of us are not in that world anymore, but it's an appraisal time, right? And I always tell people, because I keep during the appraisal time, everybody gets extremely nervous, or so when I've seen that, right? Whatever you've done through the year, right? Ultimately, consciously, subconsciously, whatever is done is what you will get.
Yeah.
If you're expecting miracles, then you're just fooling yourself, isn't it? Why are you attached to what grade you will get and what bonus you will get? And then you plan that I'm going to get a car with that bonus money. We've all done that, right? That I'm going to start calculating, right? This is much of bonus I'm going to get. This is what I'm going to get if I've done this much of my target. And then when it doesn't happen, who's the one who's unhappy? It's us, right? Because we've built it up.
What we've built is the expectation and the attachment to that, right? So I can plan that, I may get this much, and I'll buy this and all of that, but you're not dependent. So the major part of another aspect of attachment is dependency. If your happiness, your peace, yourself is dependent on some, you get attached. All right. And the moment you understand that you are not, your happiness, your peace, your well-being is not dependent on you getting something like in terms of bonus or increments or promotions, but it is only dependent on yourself. It's all within,
Right.
right? And you have it within you. So you can have all these calculations and planning, but at the same time, not your happiness is not dependent on it.
Absolutely.
Your happiness is like, if I get it, yes. If I don't get it, I'm still good. Because at the end of the day, you are whole, complete, and good the way you are.
Exactly. Exactly. And I
So
think
with this, I think it's important that we also understand in terms of, so now we understand attachment as such, but how do we address this issue?
so we've come to that's what we will talk in our next episode. And that is the relentless task of letting go. Thank you for joining us on this episode, and join us back to learn more about what is done can also be undone. Thanks, Tanvir.
Thank you, Abby. See you next week.
See you
Goodbye.
next week. Bye bye.